This how cold MJ is. I'm giving y'all, I've never said this. One dude, this got word around, you know, MJ, we all hanging out afterwards. One street dude come up there, got a bag of honey. MJ, let's gamble. MJ looked at him. Said, I ain't got a lot of time. Slip a coin for it, heads or tails. Dude looked at that 100. I'm good. He thought he was gonna go back and forth with him. He thought he was gonna go back and forth with him. MJ ain't got time.
Both times, because he was still talking that shit.
Yep, still talking shit.
Still talking that shit. He was still skilled. It was just health with him. And I had to guard that motherfucker. Gave us 40.
Saying from the Switch podcast, I do have a question. Who is your greatest player of all time, and what's your all-time 5?
Just the mention of Michael Jordan's name is enough to bring back flashes of pure greatness highlight reels, filled with unmatched dominance and a competitive spirit that changed the game forever. He's not just a 6-time NBA champion or a 5-time MVP. He's the definition of basketball excellence. For many, he's the greatest to ever do it, from soaring dunks that seemed to defy gravity to clutch shots that sealed championships. Jordan didn't just play the game, he controlled it, but his legacy goes far beyond the stats. What really made MJ different was his mindset, the fierce drive to win, and the intimidating presence that left opponents rattled before the game even started. His influence is still alive and well today, whether it's rising stars trying to carve their path to greatness or seasoned vets who grew up watching his iconic moments. Jordan continues to be the gold standard in basketball. So, what do today's NBA players really think of the man known as his Aaronist? Let's take a closer look. Luka Doncic, already considered one of the most gifted players of his generation, has dazzled fans with his court vision, smooth footwork, and basketball IQ that echoes the legends. But even someone as accomplished as Luka has moments that remind him of the giants who paved the way. One of those moments, hearing Michael Jordan say his name. For Luka, that wasn't just a casual run in, it was a surreal experience, a true pinch-me moment that reminded him just how deep and powerful the roots of basketball history really.
That's amazing. I don't know how to explain. That moment is just unbelievable, you know. MJ knows my name. It's a lot. So it was just unbelievable moment. I have no words for that.
Here's Luka Doncic, a player who's already taken the league by storm. He's delivered record-breaking triple-doubles, led his team deep into the playoffs, and proven himself against the NBA's elite. Yet, all it took was Michael Jordan saying his name to leave him absolutely stunned. That's the power behind Jordan's legacy. Luka has battled against future Hall of Famers and stood tall. But even among basketball royalty, Michael Jordan sits on his own throne. Why? Because MJ isn't just a legend, he's the blueprint. His name doesn't just echo through highlight reels. It carries an unshakable presence. Even players who never saw him play live talk about him like he's mythical, and in many ways, he is. For Luka, that moment of recognition wasn't just a personal milestone, it was a bridge to basketball's richest history. Because when Michael Jordan knows who you are, you're not just in the lag, you've arrived. And Luka's not the only one who feels that way. Kevin Durant, one of the most lethal scorers in NBA history, has carved out a legacy that will stand for decades. A 2-time NBA champion, 4-time scoring champ, and a nightmare for defenders. Durant is no stranger to greatness. Yet, for all his own accolades, he points to Jordan as the ultimate symbol of excellence. In an interview, Durant opened up about MJ's impact, not just on the hardwood, but across culture itself. Jordan didn't just dominate games. He redefined what it meant to be a global icon. His reach extended far beyond basketball. He influenced fashion, business, and the way athletes build brands.
I mean, Jordan was everything. You know, he was the standard. He was what you strive to be as a basketball player. I mean, obviously the shoes, the jersey sales, the commercials, all of that stuff was constant. But when you watch the play and your eyes were always glued to the TV, glued to him, and he just personified winning and competitiveness. And you know, as a young player, I took from that.
For Kevin Durant, Michael Jordan wasn't just the greatest of his time, he was the model. Everything about MJ, the way he moved, the way he carried himself, the way he simply refused to lose, set the gold standard for what greatness really looks like. Jordan didn't just score points, he made sure every bucket mattered. He didn't just show up, he showed why he was the best. Every single night, Durant saw that, studied it, and absorbed it. Because for young players dreaming of reaching the top, it's not enough to admire greatness, have to understand what fuels it. Yes, Jordan's sneakers became a cultural phenomenon. His commercials turned him into a global brand. But his real power, it was always in how he played. Every move on the court was purposeful. Every fadeaway jumper, like poetry in motion. Every game, it felt like a Game 7. That's what made MJ magnetic. You simply couldn't take your eyes off him. And that's what Durant took to heart. The intensity, the focus, the desire to win at all costs. Even decades after Jordan's prime, that competitive fire continues to live on in the stars he inspired. And when it comes to comparisons, no one has carried a heavier burden than LeBron James. For years, the sports world has been locked in debate. LeBron or Jordan, the king or his heiress? It's a conversation that refuses to fade, and it says everything about just how untouchable Michael Jordan's legacy really is.
Hold on. You said LeBron James the greatest player ever?
Ever.
What about Michael and Kobe? So you just gonna pass Kobe up like that?
I'm gonna pass Kobe up. I'm gonna look at Michael.
LeBron versus Jordan. It's the debate that never dies. Who faced the tougher era? Who changed the game more? Who truly holds the title of the greatest of all time? Fans and analysts may go back and forth endlessly, but if you ask LeBron James himself, there's no debate at all, because when LeBron met Michael Jordan for the very first time, it wasn't just two basketball legends shaking hands. It was something far deeper, a moment of reverence. For all LeBron has accomplished, championships, MVPs, Olympic gold, and the all-time scoring record, he still looked at MJ as the benchmark. Meeting Jordan wasn't about rivalry. It was about respect. For LeBron, that encounter was a full-circle moment. The man he grew up watching, studying, and idolizing was now right in front of him. It was less about who's greater and more about acknowledging the roots of greatness itself. Because, before LeBron could ever dream of being the king, he was just a kid from Akron watching his heiress take flight.
When I met Michael Jordan for the first time, I literally couldn't believe it was him. I couldn't believe it. Like, the dude looked like Jesus Christ to me. He looked like he was Black Jesus to me. No one could tell me anything different.
That wasn't just admiration, it was AEW. Think about it. This is LeBron James we're talking about. A once superstar, a player crowned the chosen one before he even played an NBA game. A man who carried the weight of sky-high expectations from the time he was 16. And yet, in front of Michael Jordan, LeBron didn't feel like a rival or a fellow legend. He felt like a kid again, because for LeBron, and so many others, Jordan wasn't just a basketball player, he was the icon. As a kid, LeBron watched MJ rule the 90s, turn the Chicago Bulls into a dynasty, and redefine what it meant to win. Jordan wasn't just someone to look up to, he was the unreachable ideal, the blueprint for greatness. So when that long-awaited meeting finally happened, it wasn't just a handshake. It was a flood of memories. Years of watching, learning, and idolizing came rushing back. For LeBron, this wasn't just another player. This was the man who lit the path he now walks. No matter how many rings, records, or MVPs LeBron racks up, he never forgets who set the bar. And speaking of game changers, few have rewritten the rules quite like Stephen Curry. With his deep three-point range, lightning-quick handles, and ability to stretch defenses in ways the league had never seen, Curry changed basketball itself. He's become one of the most influential players in modern NBA history, yet even he points to Michael Jordan as the ultimate standard. Curry once shared a story about a summer conversation with Jordan. Surprisingly, it wasn't about basketball. It was about golf. But even while talking clubs and fairways, MJ's competitive edge came through loud and clear.
I talked to MJ over the summer when I did an interview with him talking about golf, ironically. And he would be disappointed, I think, if I didn't have that confidence in my team. Because if anybody is going to try to measure up with him and the dynasty of the Bulls, you can't have no other attitude than that. So I love it, though, because as any hoop head and anybody who watched that team know how great they were and how great he is, the greatest ever. Like, what are we talking about?
That's classic Jordan. Even in a casual golf chat, MJ's legendary obsession with winning came out loud and clear. For Steph Curry, it wasn't just a conversation, it was a lesson. A peek into the mind of the most relentless competitor the sport has ever seen. Because, for Jordan, confidence wasn't optional, it was essential. If you wanted to compete with the best, you had to believe you were the best. That mindset defined Jordan's entire career, and it's the same edge Curry carries with him every time he steps on the court. Just like MJ, Curry didn't just play in the league, he reshaped it. He's built a dynasty, led a revolution in long-range shooting, and turned the modern NBA upside down. But ask him who holds the crown, and there's no hesitation. The title of greatest ever, that still belongs to his heiress. And for someone as accomplished and influential as Curry, that says everything. Then there's Anthony Edwards, bold, fearless, and never short on swagger. Known for his explosive athleticism and no-nonsense confidence, Edwards is already becoming one of the league's brightest young stars. He talks big, plays bigger, and doesn't back down from anyone. But even Anthony Edwards knows when it's time to keep it real and keep it simple. When the name Michael Jordan comes up,
no moves, man. Shout out to MJ, he the GOAT. I wish y'all stopped comparing me to him.
A huge Michael Jordan fan, and I think all of us were. Just seeing how he interacted with his teammates and how he moved as a player and the way his mind worked. You can watch all the stats you want to and all the highlights, but seeing, dudes in practice or having up-close interviews is different. So I thought it was eye-opening. To be honest, it's crazy that they were still that popular and that famous.
Anthony Edwards has heard the whispers, the comparisons to a young Michael Jordan, the athleticism, the fearlessness, the way he can take over a game in an instant. Some say he has flashes of early MJ in his style. But Anthony, he's not having it to him. There's only one Michael Jordan, and he wants no part in that conversation. It's rare for a rising star to step away from comparisons to greatness. But that just shows the level of respect Jordan commands even from the boldest voices in the league. Edwards knows he has the tools to be elite. He's confident in his game. But Jordan, that's different. That's sacred. Some players chase the GOAT. Others recognize the gap and just keep hooping. For Anthony Edwards, the conversation ends here. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. Period. And then there's Zach LaVine, another high flyer with a game built for the spotlight. Known for his jaw-dropping dunks, smooth shooting, and scoring prowess. LaVine has carved out his place as one of the league's most exciting players, but wearing a Chicago Bulls jersey, that hits different. LaVine understands the legacy stitched into that red and black. And when he talks about Michael Jordan, it's more than admiration, it's reverence. It's respect for how MJ dominated the game, elevated his teammates, and carried himself with unmatched confidence, whether he was dropping 50 or facing the media.
Game of basketball, and all the millions and millions of people he has inspired doing what he loves. Kids like myself, even though I never got to see him play live, but watching highlights growing up, and just understanding who he was and how much he meant to the game of basketball.
For me, I played this game and fell in love and the passion with this game because of Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? That's just always going to be that for me. I'm not in the NBA. I wouldn't have the drive and the will